Welcome back to It Resolves, where we play a new deck every single day. Today's deck is Izzet Impersonator. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another standard gameplay video. Hope you enjoyed yesterday's Explorer event. I know we didn't do super well, but it was our first kind of trial run of the events and actually just the format Explorer, and it was actually a really fun, experiment, if nothing else. I would like to kind of dip my toe into some other formats on Arena that I normally don't get to play, which is why we have built-in flex days on Thursdays. Normally we've been doing standard videos because Streets is such a compelling set, I guess you could say. But excuse me, I did want to jump into a new format and try something else. So if you did enjoy that, please let me know. If you've got a deck you want us to use, let me know, and we'll test that out as we go. But today we do have Izzet Impersonator. Now, first and foremost, this is created by the amazing Hello Good Game. If you don't know him, I don't know what you're doing, honestly. Like, there's no reason you shouldn't. But the idea is that we are going to try and take advantage of cards like Ledger Shredder and Thundering Raiju, who can really grow, and at the heart of this is a modified deck. Thundering Raiju in particular can get haste and obviously attack him very quickly to hopefully kind of sneak out a win. Now, the way we are taking advantage of this is by using things like Glasspool Mimic as well as Undercover Operative to copy the Thundering Raiju, or I should say Reflection of Kiki-Jiki, to copy the Thundering Raiju for big attacks very, very quickly. Now, again, I'm not positive that this is going to work. I've only tested it once. We did win, but we actually won more with the Ledger Shredder Connive triggers versus the Thundering Raiju. We do have Jaxis, which can also serve as copying the Thundering Raiju, but then of course also because it sort of acts like a blitz, when it dies you actually get to draw a card, which is kind of nice as well. Very interesting deck in total. We do have Kami's Flare, which obviously works great because we are a modified deck at heart, so this should be really, really efficient for us. And then of course we've got the Etching of Kumano, or however you say this, which can hopefully throw some 1/1 counters around and of course get in for some extra damage, and then Slip Out the back, which also throws a counter on something but then phases it out, so it works as a defensive spell or a very fast like offensive spell as well. We can kind of utilize it in both ways. So it's a pretty straightforward list. Again, nothing too crazy, but I do really like the idea of having multiple kind of copy spells in a deck and seeing where we can go with this. Hello Good Game, again, thank you so much, my friend, for sharing this list over on Aether Hub. I really do appreciate it. It's going to be a blast, guys. We're going to have fun with this one. Let's jump right in. Let's see how it goes. Hopefully we can get some wins, and hopefully we can copy some Raijus. I think that'll be great. Let's do it. All right, guys, here we are for game number 1. Unfortunately, I don't actually like this hand. This is very late game. The Slip Out the backs don't do anything. I think I'd rather, yeah, I mean, this is better, not great, if that makes sense. But I think we will try and keep this one. The Kami's Flare, even if we don't have a modified creature, can at least deal with something, which is useful. And then at least we've got some action spell with Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Ideally, we'd have something a little bit lower to the ground, but Fable is a good card, so we'll hopefully be able to utilize that here. And we'll see what the opponent's looking to do. Blood Tithe Harvester looks to be the play. I'm kind of okay with that, so I guess the question is, do we wait on the Kami's Flare? And I think we do. We don't have to pull that trigger quite yet, so let's wait and see what they do. If they want to, I mean, this really isn't all that good with nothing on our side of the board, so we could just kill this in response to the attack, which I'm assuming is going to happen. So let's go ahead and do that. The only thing this punishes is like if they have a Deadly Dispute, which it looks like they don't, so that's very helpful. Looks like they also don't have a land, potentially? No, they do. Okay, so this is Jund Blood, which is gonna be interesting. Looks like we both have our Fables, so let's go ahead and toss our Fable out as well. Seems fine. They're gonna draw and discard a couple cards, I'm assuming, but we'll see what. This is gonna be an interesting matchup, I think. The only trick with this deck is removal is probably pretty prevalent. That was a lot of P's, but probably pretty prevalent. That was nice. Oh, they just did not. Fascinating. Yeah, I think we just don't block. I would much rather keep ours around because, again, we are a copy stuff deck, so like having a creature around is pretty important. Worth noting the Undercover Operative can copy the opponent's creatures as well, so that is something to consider, that in a pinch we can certainly do that, or if they just have something better. But we'll see. All right. Cool. Yeah. All right, so what, if anything, do we want to discard here? Weirdly, I think we kind of have a lot we wouldn't mind discarding. Not the greatest hand again, and this is definitely going to be a rough matchup, so we got to do the best we can here. Excuse me. We do have the Hall of the Storm Giants, which is a really relevant card later in the game, of course, and this game probably will go a bit longer. I'm actually going to get rid of those two, just to dig a bit further. All right. The question is, do we attack in here just to grab the treasure token? I don't think so. I think what we're going to, I think what we're going to do is throw a couple of things out here, and that way what we can do is leave up both of these 2/2s to block the chariot if they choose to attack in. It's not great, but I think that's kind of our best bet. We do have Den of the Bugbear coming down next turn, which is kind of helpful, but we're not in great shape here for sure. Kind of an unlucky draw here, though, to be fair. Now, maybe we kept the wrong things or discarded the wrong things, I don't know, but I feel like this is just not what the deck is looking to do. So I think maybe we just got a little unlucky on the draws here, but, you know, it happens. You can't get away from that, so we'll see what the opponent wants to do here. They certainly can attack in with the Seeka's Chariot relatively safely. I mean, they do risk a double block, but they clear our board in response, so I feel like that probably is worth it, you know? But we'll see. Looks like they're really considering their options here, which is perfectly reasonable. They should be able to make quite a bit of mana this turn. Okay. The good news, bad news for us is we don't actually need all that much mana to make our deck work. Obviously, the more we have, the better, but it's not really the end of the world. Yep. So I think we do have to try for the double block here, expecting that they probably just have a kill spell, truthfully. But I don't think we really have the luxury of not taking this opportunity to try. Yeah, there we go. Kind of assumed they had it, but again, I feel like we kind of had to go for it. We still block 4 damage, which may or may not be relevant, but... And we're just drawing lands, man. Tons and tons of lands. Alright. So this is going to come down as our 2/2. We do get to draw and discard some cards, so I certainly will do that. Okay. Let's do this. It's going to come in with an additional 1/1, which is certainly relevant. Let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and kill this. This also is going to hit them for a little bit of damage, and now we at the very least have a blocker. And yeah, I mean, I guess we discard that. Well, I say a blocker, it's not a great blocker, but they can still attack it with the 4/4 Seeka's Chariot. We'll see. We will see. This is a tricky game, guys. I'm not gonna lie. This also is not a deck that I feel very well versed in, so I do fully expect that, you know, some of this is I could play a lot better, but that's fine. It happens. Do we take a block on one of these guys? I guess we can try. Again, we're not in a position where we have the luxury of not blocking, you know? Yeah. And I think they're just playing the value game. Like, it doesn't really matter if they lose one of these guys. They're replacing it immediately and getting a treasure token, so I think they're fine. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's really good. They get their tree folk. That's phenomenal for them. All right. Well, here's to hoping. I do like the shield counter on that. All right. Let's do this. Might as well. I mean, like, do we just take that? Just to have a big thing? I feel like that's not the worst idea in the world. Let's do this. I don't know. I don't know that this is the right play at all, but we're trying it. I guess we'll attack here, and if they want to block with one of these guys or both, that's kind of fine. Or if they just decide they want to lose their Ren and 7, that's fine. Cool. We did a thing. Yeah. So again, we're kind of in a position where if we draw a land, we can copy this thing twice and get 2 6/6s. Well, 3 6/6s on the field, unless they just kill it, which sucks. But they are, I don't know. This is a weird game, guys. I don't know what you want from me. No, I'm just teasing. But we'll see. This is an interesting game. Like, absolutely fascinating. I don't feel like it's as easy as it was on them last turn, though. Having the operative come down as the tree folk was like pretty relevant because they are lower on lands here. So they do have to consider that. Highest mana value. So Rivetier's Charm isn't actually that good against this either. So that does kind of remove the possibility of just an easy removal option. Now they can attack in for 5 pretty efficiently. I do think they would want to keep the pressure up here. But maybe that's wrong, I don't know. Okay. I'm kind of amazed if they attack in with everything here. They do get to copy this if they attack in with the chariot though, so I guess that makes sense. Whew, what a game. This is a pretty cool game. I'm like really into this one. All right, sick. So they're gonna copy the 5/5, if I had to guess. Yeah. They also create 1 treasure token, but not 2. Maybe they don't want to lose both. I'm not sure. But I think we just block like so. They might just have another chariot or just a 1 damage spell, like a spike field hazard to kill the tree folk. That would be kind of bad. We would get to connive, I guess. Would we get to connive? No, we wouldn't get to connive yet. They have to play 2 spells for us to do that. Ledger Strider's a sick card, by the way. I really enjoy it. Blood Tithe Harvester. Okay. They don't play another spell. Okay. Does that change any math? So we can drop it. Ooh, about clicked the wrong thing. That could have been really bad. I do think we play it as a land to give these, like, make these 6/6s. Because now we're attacking him for 12, which is like a pretty substantial chunk of damage here. And we're staying slightly ahead of them on lands, which is pretty amazing. Sure. That's actually okay with me. I don't particularly care that they're digging so much. Are they going to do it again? The thing is, if they sacrifice their blood tokens, they lose the ability to use the Blood Tithe Harvester for anything, so it basically just becomes a 3/2. Works for me. Definitely just attacking for 12. Like, I don't think we have the luxury of not attacking for 12 here, so... Gonna have to force the issue. They lost the Chariot. That was kind of a big play for them. Now they're losing a mana source, essentially, so that's pretty reasonable for us, too. And now we can just kind of pass. Granted, they have a lot of stuff on the field, but like the 2 5/5s can just kind of reasonably attack in. Excuse me, 6 6s. That's not good. That is a very lethal attack. So they can definitely force the issue here. We'll see. We probably weren't going to win this game anyway, but like, at least we put up a reasonable fight. I think we played reasonably well. Probably could have done cleaner, but that's fine. 2 cards in hand. They also just have a Hive of the Eye Tyrant, worth noting, that they could attack in with. So like, they could spread this damage out enough that it's probably relatively impossible for us to do anything anyway. Sorry, I just hit the mic there. Okay. Now I wish I had another Undercover Operative. Just copy the Titan. That'd be kind of sick. Yep. I assume they just blow up an enchantment. They could just blow up the blocker. You know what I mean? Like, but they're gonna blow up a tapped creature. I feel like they could win this turn regardless. So like, I don't see why you wouldn't just blow up the blocker. And they don't attack. They could have definitely won this turn. That's hilarious. I don't get that at all. Okay. I mean, we're dead, like 100%. So I'm just gonna go out with a bang. We're just gonna attack in. Put a 1/1 counter on what? You? And you? I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of damage. So that's where the Thundering Raiju copy thing makes a lot of sense, because you can just sneak out a win. I mean, you got to think that was a pretty reasonable amount of damage that we were able to deal just randomly. But I mean, they get to win. Like, there's no... Yeah, just do the thing. We'll let them block, but like, they just kill us. Yeah. Interesting. What? I don't know what this opponent's doing. I'll be honest. They could have won last turn, and I don't know why they are doing any of this. I mean, they definitely win this next turn. All right. I'm conceding. They did it. That was a weird game, guys. Let's jump into game 2. What's up, guys? Before we jump into the next game, I just want to remind you, if you would like to pick up this month's Patreon rewards, feel free to do so at patreon.com/itresolves. All right, guys, here we are for game 2. Let's hope for a slightly better game this time around. Do we keep this is the question. I think we do. I mean, we've got turn 1 into turn 2. Turn 2 Ledger Shredder after playing this is like pretty great, actually. So yeah, I mean, it seems like an obvious one to me. We've got the Hall of the Storm Giants, which can come down untapped, which is great. We do have a Glasspool Mimic if we feel we need the 3rd land and just don't have it. So we'll see how that goes. But I mean, the play is very obvious this turn. We just go for this. And it does come in as a 2/4, which means this Blood Tithe Harvester is not easily going to deal with it. I'd love to just pull a land, honestly, next turn. That would be pretty much perfect. They're going to go ahead and Infernal Grasp. That's annoying. Okay. Sure. Still think land would probably be, like, the best draw. And there we go. Sick. That was great. I mean, it's exactly what we wanted. I mean, I think we just attack in first. Yep. Let's see. Let's tap and tap. We'll play Ledger Shredder. And then I'll play another one. So this is going to allow us to connive here, which is fantastic. Yeah, we can ditch one of these. Gives it another counter. So again, just harder to deal with. You know, having 4 toughness is relatively important in standard environments because there's a lot of 3 damage and 2 damage spells. There are a couple of 4 damage spells, in particular like Thundering Rebuke comes to mind, but most of the time they're gonna have to use like an Infernal Grasp or something along those lines to actually deal with it, so that's pretty helpful. Ha! Love that. Alright, so let's do this. It's gonna come in with a counter on it. We're just gonna copy the etching to be able to deal max damage, I think, this turn. Kind of just on the pressure game at this point. Like the Thundering Raiju at some point gets to come down if we do grab a land off the top. But next turn, I mean, this is gonna flip. We'll have, if we draw a red source, we can just drop the Raiju and like attack for lethal, essentially. This is much more like to the game plan of the deck, it seems like, that Hello Good Game kind of put together here. So this is actually working quite nicely. We may not win still. I'm not saying we're just like guaranteed to win or anything, but we definitely have a better shot this time around, which is helpful. And it looks like they're willing or not willing to attack here, which is important. Go ahead and do this. And the play is pretty clear here. The question is, do we use Slip Out the Back at all here? Let's just see what happens if we do this. We're kind of learning a little bit here. Do we? Well, no. We could have blitzed this. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but that's fine. Next turn we have Thundering Raiju. They can't deal with this etching this turn, so like, chances are we should be able to kind of win this off the bat here. Unless they just play more creatures, which I guess would be difficult to deal with, but we'll see, we'll see, we'll see. Guys, I'm really trying to pre-record ahead, by the way. I talked in one of the previous videos about doing a content dump day, which to me just sounds hilarious. The idea being that we, like, every couple hours would have a new piece of content going up on the channel, whether that be, you know, a live stream, a pre-recorded video, whatever it might be. Just to kind of overload on content for a day and just see what happens. I'm still not opposed to that. I kind of want to give it a shot, but let me know what you guys think. Easy kill here. We blitz. We attack. And we should win. Unless they have a burn spell. Nope. We did it. That's the deck. We did it. That was amazing. Let's go for one final game, guys. Let's see if we can get another win. Alright guys, here we are. This is definitely going to be our last game. And how do we feel about this hand? It's a little odd, not going to lie. But you know what? Let's try it. This is out of... this is a pretty bad start. Like, let's be honest. A turn 3 play on a deck like this is not what you want. But I kind of just want to see what happens, you know? Let's go ahead and play the coast here. There's really not a huge reason not to. I don't know. We'll see if this works out. It probably won't. Looks like we're up against the Boros aggro, so this is definitely not ideal. But, hey, we'll see what happens. Interesting. Okay. I mean, that's a solution to the problem that we have, so I'm kind of cool with that. I guess we get red. I don't think it matters too much. Let's pass and see what happens. I mean, we're definitely just gonna Kami's Flame something, the adversary, now. Save ourselves some damage here. If they have a protection spell, this kind of sucks. Yeah. Fair enough. That's not good. Well, guys, probably gonna die. Bad keep on my end, to be honest. Definitely not the best, but that's cool. Let's go ahead and throw the Fable down. Get our little 2/2, which is so well positioned right now. Yeah, this was a bad keep, guys. There's no doubt about it. And they're just running us under the table here. Wow. They just have everything they need. There's the Thundering Raiju. Do we just die? 9. Yeah, they just got us. Wow. Well, that was efficient. Bad keep on our end, for sure, guys. That's okay. You know what? Let's go ahead and wrap this one up. Let's talk about this deck. All right, so Izzet Impersonator, what do we think? First and foremost, I will just say again, a huge thank you to Hello Good Game for sharing this list, putting this one together. It was an absolute blast to play. Do we like it though? I mean, not in best of one personally. I do think it's good. Like, the idea is there. I think copying Thundering Raiju for easy wins is like perfectly reasonable. I just feel like there's more efficient ways to win the game with Thundering Raiju that don't include copying it, which this feels much more like in tune with only that game plan, whereas other decks, and you know, you saw the example, the Boros deck in that last game, they just have other plays that are just higher value throughout the game. Now again, we kept a terrible hand, so that was just like a bad game all around for us, but I would suggest that just a more like generalized Boros aggro deck is going to have a better matchup against more things than something like this, where you're pretty dependent on having a creature on the field. Like, if you're up against a control deck, it's always going to be difficult because you know, a lot of your cards become dead cards if you have nothing on the field, or the opponent has nothing on the field. So all the copy spells don't do anything in that regard. So for me, it's not great. It's an okay deck, and it was a really fun one to play. Again, Hello Good Game, I don't mean that. Obviously, I don't even know that you watch, but if you do, thanks. It's great to have you. But I don't know. For me, it didn't really do it. But that's just my opinion. If you guys run it and you guys feel differently, that's awesome. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. We lost a little bit, but we did get one win. So yeah, not a clean sweep, but that's okay. I love you guys very much. I hope you have a fantastic Friday. We'll hopefully see you guys again very soon. Don't forget to stay tuned for the collection update tomorrow, and hopefully we have a guest slot as well. So do stay tuned for that. But thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you later.